Chapter 27, verse 3. Kelecha tel yacha. Good. Dayid. Because even though it's spelled Seidah, there's an example of something that happens in the Torah that's called a Kriyu Ktiv. Do you know what that means? Kriyu Ktiv means that even though it's written one way in the Torah, when we read it in a different way. So you always have to pay attention to that. Why is there such a thing as a Kriyu Ktiv? Let me ask Grok that actually. He could give us a complete summary. Why is there such a thing known as Kriyu Ktiv? Let me see what their explanations for it. One explanation is it reflects two different traditions. Why is there something? Let's see if they can answer this. Kriyu Ktiv. It means that why does this system exist? Let's see what Grok says. The ancient scribes, especially the Masoretes, were extremely careful not to change received text. So sometimes they believe the original text contained a scribal error, or a word was theologically sensitive. That's called kinoi hasofrim. So they changed a more polite word, or they wanted to change a name of God or a very holy word should be replaced with a substitute. That's more difficult. But basically, it maybe reflects two different versions of the text. That's one possibility. But or they maybe have a more correct version, rather than cross it out, they retain the original version and make another version on the side, which is the way we read it, which is not the way it's written. Okay? So now Yitzchak said, now pick up your sword and your bow, your weapons, and go out to the field and catch game for me. Okay, Rashi says, Sana. Lashon hashchaza. This is an expression of sharpening. He says, go out and sharpen your weapons. Tel yacha, your sword, because the sword was hanging from the belt. And he says, go catch me. Why is Yitzchak telling Esav to catch him some deer? Why doesn't he say, go and get for me a deer? Why does he have to say, trap me? So Rashi says, make sure that it was a wild deer and not something that was stolen. Understand? He was worried Esav was going to steal it. Follow that? Arik or Eyal? Eyal. But you're not identical. You are identical? So how am I supposed to know? Your teeth? I have very bad eyesight. Do you have different teeth?
No.
Oh. Oh, you have braces. Yeah, but that won't help me. Okay. Whatever. I'll just do the best I can as long as you don't promise not to get insulted. Will you get insulted if I mix it? Okay, fine. Okay, Judah, read the next book. Thank you, Eyal. What? Vaseli, right. Vaseli matamim. Tivarechacha. He says, okay, go out and bring for me delicious food, kasher hafti, just like I like it, and bring it to me and I will eat it, so that your soul might bless me before I die. So he's asking, why is he asking Esav to do this, Judah? What does Yitzchak want from Esav? And he says, so that my soul may bless you. Why is he blessing Esav when he could be blessing Jacob? Why do you think Yitzchak is choosing to bless Esav? Okay, it's fair. I don't know either. It's a good question. And yeah.
Maybe he didn't, maybe he had some less before.
So he's never blessed him yet. That's a very, very good, interesting insight. He was saying maybe the whole world hasn't blessed Esav, so maybe Jacob doesn't need the blessing, but Esav does. That's so sensitive. Okay, I like that answer. Arik, can you read the next one? How's your Hebrew reading? Is it good? No? Okay, so we'll go back to Nohorai. Wait, what do you mean? You guys don't read Hebrew? Shvach? Not so good. Eyal's better?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay, Nohorai, you read it. Okay, Nohorai, I'll read it. Rivka Shomat. Rivka Shomat. Hey, Dan. What happened to Noam, by the way?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, go on. Rivka Shomat. B'daber Yitzlak. Hayel Chesav Hasadeh. Watsud. Sayid. Okay. So the Rivka Shomat, Rivka heard when Yitzchak spoke to Esav his son. Vayelch Esav Hasadeh Watsud Saylavi, and Esav went out to the field to catch and trap animals to bring them. So basically, we're chapter 27, verse 5. So Rivka heard this. Rivka Shomat, she hears this, Yitzchak telling this, and Esav went out. So Rashi is clearly here going to read this in a very negative way to Esav. He says, what does it mean to bring? In William Tzatzayit, if he won't find game, Yavi Menagezel, he'll bring from that which is stolen. So, meaning to say, she knows what Esav is up to. Okay, verse 6. Rivka, you read it, no, right? Yaakov ben Lemor. Kinei. So Rivka said to Jacob, her son, saying, behold, I heard your father speaking to Esav, your brother, saying, okay, we'll read the next one. Avili Tzayid, bring me some game. Vasili matamim, and make for me delicious food. V'ochel, and I will eat it. V'avacheka, and I will bless you. Before Hashem, before I die. So basically, hey, how you doing, Aryeh? All right, Baruch Hashem. So basically, Rivka knows the story. She knows what's up, and she's concerned. And she's going to pull a fast one on Yitzchak by sending Jacob to deceive Isaac. So who thinks Rivka is acting correctly in doing this? What do you think, Judah?
Yeah.
Well, Yitzchak said to Esav, go and get me food, and I'm going to bless you before I die. Rivka hears this, and she's about to tell Jacob she's going to give the food to Jacob, and Jacob will bring it to Yitzchak so that Jacob gets the blessing. There's so many issues with this. First of all, why doesn't she just speak to her husband? I guess it wouldn't have been successful if she would have just spoke with him. But also, she's setting up her son to be duplicitous. And third of all, like, what is it really? Can a bracha work? What is the blessing that we okay, let's start with the simplest question I think they asked her. What do you gain from getting the blessing? What do you gain from getting the blessing? What do you gain from getting the blessing? Yeah, but if it's given under false pretenses, what's the point of it? What do you get? What would be gained from this? Yeah.
You think it's like a
Yeah, wait, Dan is speaking, yeah. I'm just telling Rabbi Yosef, you're speaking. Yeah, what are you saying?
If it's a magical incantation and it can't be taken back once bestowed, then then substituting yourself does benefit, and that's kind of the way it seems like they reviewed it, right?
I don't know. You said right at the end, but I don't know.
I mean, it seems that that's the way they regard it.
Not necessarily. Like, what does he get tangibly from this blessing? Tangibly, he still runs away. I mean, he still has to work. And what is the? I'm not sure that there's any ever any evidence that
he gets reaffirmed the right to be the firstborn, which he had already kind of
bought
bought from.
He bought from Esau, so I don't know. It's a mystery to me. It's a mystery to me. Like, what is he gaining from this? Can you get a blessing through deception? If let's say somebody, let me give you a parallel. If somebody's going up to the Bavitcher Rebbe to get a blessing, and the other guy comes along and pushes him down, kicks him, and jumps in front and says, "I get the blessing." Does that? You don't like that, no, right? It doesn't seem to work. So what's? I'm sorry, Rabbi Yosef. What were you saying? And then Rabbi Yosef and then Arya. Yeah, what were you saying?
I was just going to say something that I think Rav Toriel taught us, which is that there's two times that the Kohen Gadol is mentioned in terms of prayer, and both of them seem like it's not right. The first one is with the mothers of the Kohanim Gedolim, according to the Mishnah, would bring food and clothing for the people in the cities of refuge, so that they won't pray for them to their sons to die. So like these people murdered somebody, and their prayer is going to be better than the high priests who prays for the whole people of Israel, and that they will die because I want to go back home. And the second example, also about the Kohen Gadol, his last line, according to what we say in Musaf of Yom Kippur, is about Anshe Sharon Shelo Yu Bateim Kivrehem, which is because they had quicksand, and so they were praying for there to not be rain, and he had to pray for the people of Israel to have rain. And so again, the contrast, like these people are, they probably chose the land because it's the cheapest they could get. And
I mean, so fine, I hear that, but I think that there is a distinction there. I can understand why you don't want people, even if they're not the biggest righteous people in the world, praying against you. It's like a very bad energy. You don't want like people, even if because who knows, maybe they repented and now they're pure. Who knows? You don't want people praying against you. But here, stealing a blessing seems to me like it's a whole different thing. Like, what value, what spiritual value is there in that? Aryeh, what were you going to say?
Isn't that same idea applied to mitzvahs? Like, if you and your brother like go to do a mitzvah and then whoever like runs back goes to it first, it's a mitzvah, no? Isn't it like kind of the same idea?
Well, yeah, but if you and your brother are running to do a mitzvah and you punch him in the face and kick him,
You get the mitzvah, but then you get the
yeah, that's what's called a mitzvah that comes through a sin. It's not a mitzvah. That actually the temple has such an example that they were both running up to do the Trumas Hadeshen, removal of the ashes, and somebody hit somebody else, and he either he broke his leg, or another example is where somebody killed somebody, a Kohen killed somebody. So that's not a mitzvah. I mean, just think about it. That's a terrible thing. No, that's right. If you're both running to be the let's say to have the mitzvah of getting called to the Torah to get the Aliyah, and you actually, I've seen some of the worst fights I've ever seen have been in synagogues where people are fighting over who gets which honor. No, I'm not joking. Yeah.
Like physical altercation?
I've seen physical altercations over it.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I've seen physical. You think it's crazy because why? Because they're fighting over a holy thing, or because why it's not even important enough? Why would you be fighting over it? But clearly, whenever people are fighting over something, it's not fighting over that specific thing. Whenever people are fighting, it's usually not over that thing. They're fighting over something bigger, and that's a symbol of it. So they probably put their baggage into that moment. Yeah, Deborah.
What about in this case though? Where does Rivka fit in? Because she's giving him the platform to do it and the backup to do it, and that's different, I think, than these other cases we're talking about. Because if your mother's in on it and wants it and is proactive about it,
I mean, that to me is
it's not good, but
it makes it more complicated for sure. But that goes to that I think it's like a terrible thing, a terrible example of when the mother says one thing and the father says another thing, that they're giving a very mixed signal about what's the proper way to act. And not only that, she's telling her son to deceive his father.
Right.
Even if your mother tells you to deceive your father, it's not allowed. You're not allowed to dishonor your father because your mother tells you.
I'm not arguing that. I'm saying
Yeah.
that what's going on internally with Yaakov when his mother is telling him it's okay, this is what I want you to do, this is what you need to do.
Yeah.
What doesn't that put him in a different situation than if he was punching his brother out to get the blessing?
Yeah, for sure. It makes it more complicated. It definitely makes it more complicated. On the other, I'm not saying it's not complicated, but it's just disturbing to me. Okay, let's read Pasuk Chet. Judah, it's your turn. Judah, Pasuk Chet. V'ata b'ni.
ואתה בני שבא וקולי לאשר אני
Mitzvah.
מצווה אותה.
Yeah, first of all, Judy, you read beautifully. And actually, this goes to Deborah's point. She says, now my son, listen to my voice, that which I command you. She's not asking her son to do this. She's commanding her son to do this. That's a very interesting point also, that Jacob is sitting there, his mother's commanding him to do something. So.
And he's not fully grown yet, is he?
Well, according to Rashi, you know how old he is according to Rashi at this point? Rashi says we said it yesterday, he's 63. He's 63 because Rashi did the calculations yesterday. He said Isaac was 123 years old at this point. How do we know that? Because how do we know that? Because Rashi in chapter 28, verse 9 says Jacob was 63 years old when this incident happened, because Yitzchak was 60 when Jacob was born. Anyway, Rashi figures out that he's 63 at this point. So that's not exactly a spring chicken, but it's not biblical years. He was at the midway point of his life, because Jacob lived to 137. Or did he live to 137 or 143? I think 137. I forget exactly. You can look. What?
Yitzchak or Yaakov?
Yaakov, I think.
147.
147. So 147. So therefore,
30 words in the question.
So therefore, if he's 63, he's almost at the midway point of his life. You have to look at it that way. But he's still not. He's not a teenager. He's older than Arik and Eyal put together. Okay, Noam, you read the next pasuk. Pasuk Tet, chapter 27, paragraph 7, pasuk Tet.
Lechna el.
Oh, look at this accent. There's a mivta Yisraeli.
Shachli misham
Shnei
gdaye izim tovim ve'ese otam matamim la'avicha ka'asher ahev.
Right, he says, go now to the sheep and take for me from there 2 goats, Shnei G'daye Izim Tovim, 2 goats that are good, 2 nice goats, and I'll make them into delicious food for your father, just like he loves. All right. Take for Rashi says, what does it mean take for me? Mishalihim, they are that which is mine, and they're not theft. Why? Because that's what Yitzchak wrote to her in her ketubah, that she gets to take 2 goats every day. Do you know what it is, a ketubah? Does anybody know what's a ketubah?
Like a contract.
It's a bond. Do you know what a bond is?
Yeah.
What's a bond?
Like it's like a deal, sort of.
It's basically what the ketubah is. A bond is basically like a promise that this payment that the husband is promising to his wife comes before everything else. So when they got married, he made a promise to her, and and she gets paid first. And what was the promise? It was a whole bunch of different things, but part of the things that were promised was that she gets to take every single day 2 goats for herself. Every day she gets a daily allowance of 2 goats. So basically, Rashi is saying that Rivka and Jacob are not stealing their goats. She was entitled to it. Okay.
First of all, they're kids, and second of all, I mean, kids have a goat, and second of all, it's not very, it's a stretch because they only get born once a year, um, and that's why we have Maser Be'ema and Elul, right? So
Yeah, but they were sitting around, they were hanging around, so she has the whole year to take them from the flocks. She was entitled.
730, 730 little kids.
Why not? Why not? I mean,
That's a lot.
he had a lot of pasture, he had a lot of crops, or maybe it was. Anyway, that's what Rashi says every day. And also, just to go to your point, that this took place around Pesach time, so maybe it was around the time that they were born. Maybe when they were there, she could take. Maybe
That's actually that one was for
okay.
Pesach and one was for her.
Okay, let's see. The next Rashi says, is Yitzchak going to eat? That's what Rashi says. Is he going to eat two baby goats? Is that what he's going to do? So what's he going to do with the two baby goats? So this is a tricky Rashi. Rashi says it was Pesach time. And so one of them he brought as his Pesach. He had to bring the carbon Pesach. And the other one he made into delicacies. So I don't know who just walked in. Who's here? Oh, she and Bear. So how can he have carbon Pesach before they left Egypt? How could he have carbon Pesach before he left Egypt? Anybody want to try to answer that question?
Is Michtav Eliyahu translated?
It might be, but what's
Michtav
the answer?
Eliyahu has a beautiful explanation about the
What does he say?
The spiritual source of Pesach is the spiritual cherut, not the physical. Even if we never went to, he says that even if we never tried, we would still
Right.
the
So
end of our marriage to Hashem.
yeah, so what I was going to say is like this. I appreciate what Rabbi Yosef said, quoting the great Rabbi Eliyahu Dessler. I would say it's like this, that this is a hard concept to understand, but we have to look at the patriarchs as beyond time also. So they were the concepts, they're able to live the concepts beyond time, meaning they understood the concept of Pesach. But it's a tricky Rashi. Why does Rashi need to write like that? Anyway, well, this is food for thought, and we'll stop here to daven mincha. Yashar koach to everyone.